So with local government elections due before the end of the month, February 26 to be exact, do you know the role of the local government in Jamaica and why your vote is important? Well, we're going to have teaching assistant in the Department of Government at UA, Mr. Andrew McDaniel, to break things down for us. Morning, friend. Welcome to Smile. How are you?
Morning. Glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
What do you mean by local government elections? What that mean when you say local government as opposed to national government? What that mean?
Well, for the most part, any political system that you find globally, there are different tiers in terms of representation. Our local government is the second tier in our political system. So it simply means that there is a level of decentralization that happens where the central government delegate some of the functions that they have in terms of the welfare of the people to the local authorities. So they're basically responsible for some of the peculiar issues that affect the day-to-day lives of Jamaicans at a community level.
So it's like the parish council?
Yeah, the parish councils, of course.
All right. Which makes sense. So you've got the members of parliament who form essentially central government, right? And then, as you say, it's delegated, some of the work is delegated to the parish level through the parish councils, which is the local government.
Yeah, the local authorities, as we call them. Mm-hmm. So these parish councils, how they are structured, they're structured in such a way in which their focus is primarily on community development. So even though we have the broad 63 constituencies, the member of parliament can possibly focus on every single thing. Imagine us debating in parliament, the cleaning of a gully or sewage management. Mm-hmm. So for that, you need somebody at a lower level, per se, at the community level, that is responsible for some of these day-to-day issues that may pop up. And with that, you have 228 electoral divisions, and these councillors that we plan to head to the polls on February 26th to vote for, they're responsible primarily for some of these issues.
Gotcha. So just like how Jamaica is divided into 63 constituencies, each parish is divided into whatever number
of electoral divisions, yes.
So in local government, or the local government elections, the member of parliament is not up for a vote?
No, only the local authorities, your councillors, your mayors, they're the ones up for a vote. They are the candidates that are on display for persons to vote for.
Yeah. Yes. Is there a head of local government? I mean, we do have the ministry, right? But is there a head of local government? Or
a head not in the leadership structure for this country. So there is no head for the entire local government structure for the country, but there is the agent, of course, which is the Minister of Local Government, and for now it's the Minister of Local Government and Community Development, right, which is Mr. Desmond Mackenzie. Right. So we do have that minister acting as an agent, but in terms of the entire structure of local authority, we don't necessarily have a head, per se, like how you would have a prime minister.
Yeah. In many areas, I read that you have many councillors.
Yes.
So why you don't have one councillor per area like you have one MP per area? Why?
Well, I mean, the electoral divisions all have one councillor. So the 228, as I said before.
Explain that. You said the electoral divisions.
So within the constituencies, you have electoral divisions. So 228 electoral divisions.
In total, for the island?
In total, for the island, yes. Mm-hmm. And these electoral divisions have a councillor.
Right.
And these councillors oversee that particular division. So as I said before, even though the member of parliament is responsible for a constituency, in that constituency, you might find maybe 4 or 5 electoral divisions, and you have a councillor for that particular electoral divisions. And this is overseen, once again, decentralization.
So you can end up with 5 or 6 councillors.
So you can end up with 5 or 6 councillors in that particular constituency.
Right.
Or 5 or 4 or however many, just so we can share the work, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do people get their issues resolved through local government, through their parish councils and the divisions and so on?
Well, I mean, and that's why the councils are close to home, because you can make an application through the office of a councillor, and they should be close to home, or the office should be located in the electoral division. As a matter of fact, growing up, I remember that the councillor for my electoral division, his office was right beside of his place of business. So if the office is close by, you can make an application through that office in order to address some issue that you're having, maybe on a personal or community level. Or if not the office of the councillor, you can also do so through the different councils that they have in the parish. So the different municipal offices that they have, you can also make applications through those offices as well.
Yep. I know the members of parliament, they're given constituency funds.
Yes.
So if you want to fix a little road in your community, them get a couple million for that and stuff. What happened to the councillor? Them get money to do stuff to our...
Yes, man. Once they're a public official, there is some level of resource that's allocated to the councillors. However...
Which is different from the member of parliament, or is the member of parliament have to give me the councillor money?
Local government receives its own allocation.
Okay.
Not much though. They are encouraged to generate revenue in different ways. in terms of like maybe a license or so on, but they are encouraged to generate their own revenue. But they do receive some level of allocation from the public purse in order for them to address some of these issues within the divisions.
I don't want to belabor the point, but if him is the member of parliament and me is the council and I want to fix a road, is him a go to for the money or the government give me that money?
You shouldn't have to go to a member of parliament, but, and this is where they kind of intersect in terms of responsibilities, there are some issues that might require the support of a member of parliament because, of course, there's a lot of money that's reallocated to the constituency development fund that the member of parliament will have access to. Now, in terms of you as a local government representative, you might not have that level of resource available to you at your disposal. So you might want to reach out to the member of parliament in order to get certain things done. But generally, the local authorities, they're allocated their own resources from the government.
Right. Quite often people know members of parliament and not necessarily, or know their MP and not necessarily the councillor for their particular division. As a result, they may end up going to the MP to say, hey, listen, I've got this burning issue that needs to be addressed, when maybe it should be more directed at the councillor. How can people make that distinction?
Well, I mean, there is some celebrity attached to the title of a member of parliament because of a few reasons. Of course, we get to watch them on television debate in the sittings of parliament, of course. And you don't necessarily get that for the councillors. The persons are familiar with the MP. And then we talk about the spectacle behind a general election. The persons are familiar with the MP. And there are a few reasons as well to why persons will choose to go to the member of parliament rather than the councillor.
What are those? Well,
physical closeness in terms of accessibility. You might be closer to the member of parliament in terms of their office than you are to the councillor. And one, too, as well, we have to talk about the political culture of Jamaica, where the member of parliament might be from the political party that you support, but the councillor may not share the same political leanings as well. And this becomes an issue.
I don't know if you know this, Andrew, but does history suggest that whoever wins local government win national election?
I mean, some might make a case, but that's not a consistent pattern for you to make a judgment such as that in terms of having the local government support. Because there are constituencies controlled by one party, but the majority of councillors there are from the opposing party. Yeah?
So that's a no then, the answer is a no.
It's a no, the pattern is not clear enough. Or consistent enough for us to say that, yes, if you have enough electoral divisions in a local government elections, then chances are you will also win the upcoming general election.
End up with a mayor. Does he have to be with the ruling party?
Does he have to be with the ruling party?
The mayor?
Well, the mayor is elected as well in local government elections. So the mayor, there's also elections for the mayor as well as the councillors.
So you could have, say, the Jamaica Labour Party, say, use Kingston, KSA, MC, or whatever that is. So if, say, the GLP have more members in that council, can the mayor be from the PNP?
Yes, of course, if the mayor is elected from the opposing party, then of course. Because it's still up to universal adult suffrage person to elect the mayor, as same as though they elect the council.
So we elect the mayor, but just because GLP have more people or PNP have more people?
No.
Right.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I want to go back to something, just following on a previous question from Neville. How much of a litmus test is a local government election when you consider general elections? Is it an... I know that the pattern is not clear like that, but, I mean, is it really a good indication of where a party stands?
Yes, it tells us the public attitudes towards the different representatives from a party. Yeah? It gives us an indication in terms of how the public is viewing a particular party. So we can use that as an indicator, per se, to say that, yes, this party is gaining popularity in the polls, or general across the Jamaican populace in terms of how the public feels about them. So you could use that to say that, yes, this party is gaining popularity.
My final question, from your experience, do we even care about local government elections?
From my experience, we care about local government representatives, but there is not enough, let me say, grandiosity around the local government elections, the same way you would have it around general elections. So, for the most part, no. Persons tend to see it as something very minor, but we should participate heavily in local government elections because of the impact.
Yeah, I said final question. You know who your councillor is in your area?
Of course, but unfortunately he passed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you say of course because I don't know who is...
You're a councillor?
Councillor. I know who is a member of parliament in the area, but I don't know who the councillor is. You know?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm enumerated in Central Westmoreland. So I'll go there and I know who my councillor is. Of course, I know my MP. And
you know who the councillor is in the area where you live? Oh, yeah, a big thing, you. Good to see you.
No problem.
All the very best to you and the family for the year. Teaching
Thank
assistant in the Department of Government at UA Mona, Mr. Andrew McDaniel.
Up next, Neville will talk about the legacy of retired cop SSP Steve McGregor. Stay with us.
Fortis, and he would say forever. But then it's there, Steve. So come.